And now we move on to the next portion, which is equation solving, a critical skill in algebra, one of my favorite things to teach. This is one of those things where students either have completely no idea what to do or they have a small idea what to do, but they do it wrong all the time. And then it's easy to explain, easy to teach, and they will love you for teaching it. So one of my favorite things ever to teach, absolutely. Number 7, we have x plus 10 equals 112. The key to solving for a letter is the rule of opposites. You do the opposite operation, which sounds crazy, but what are these operations that I'm talking about? So the opposite operations we need to know and practice are addition, subtraction. They negate each other. We use those against each other. And then multiplication and division. The whole reason for this is because we need to move everything that isn't a letter X to the other side of the equal sign. And you can only do that by using the rule of opposites. For number 7, we are going to be subtracting 10. Lord help me. We have x equals 102 as our final answer. And yes, if you're a smarty pants, oh, that's just awful looking. If you're a smarty pants, you could have done that in your head. You could have just looked at x and said, yeah, what plus 10 equals that? Oh yeah, 102 plus 10 equals that. I've been there. My younger brother was the same way, and still kind of is. But you don't want to rely on that. You do not want to rely on that because it gets more complicated to the point where you're just going to be sitting there brainstorming forever and have no idea how to solve it. Let's look at number 8. Number 8, using the rule of opposites, we want to move the negative 4. It is being added to the x. It's a little tricky. Do we subtract 4? Do we subtract negative 4? Do we add 4? What do we do? Well, simply add 4. Just add 4 to both sides. Let me show you specifically exactly what's going to happen. The negative 4 with the positive 4 will cancel. And I hope you find satisfaction in crossing that out. A lot of students love that, where they get to cross out what they just canceled. This will give me plus x. I'm going to be very literal here. Plus x equals 12. The plus sign doesn't mean anything. Technically, you could have written 0 plus x, because negative 4 plus 4 is 0. But guys, 0 plus anything is whatever that number is. So 0 plus anything, you don't have to put the 0. I'm going to sidestep over here. We get x equals 12. Voila. Magic. With number 9, we have some simplification to do first. We can multiply the 4 times the 3, giving us x plus 12 equals 15. And yes, we subtract 12 to both sides. What some people like to do, let me change to a black marker. They like to draw a wall going right down that equal sign. And I commend that. You could absolutely do that. I'm at the point where I don't need to. I typically don't teach that, but when I see people struggling with this idea, you could draw a wall right down that equal sign. And remember, it's kind of like a mirror. I guess wall is a bad way to put it, but it's a mirror. You can't just automatically combine things on opposite sides. You have to do the rule of opposites to both sides. All right, number 10. Let's subtract 14 first. To get rid of this negative 2, you do not add 2 to both sides. We have negative 2x. What this implies is multiplication. It's negative 2 times x. I know there's no operation being shown, but when you have a number touching that variable, the same way we just practiced something touching the parenthesis, same concept. You're multiplying. You are just multiplying. So we have to divide both sides by negative 2. So divide negative 2, divide negative 2. I show my work using a fraction. If you want to do the division symbol, negative 2, that's totally fine. So 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. We could either distribute the 6, which means to multiply it to the x and multiply it to the 13, thus getting rid of the parentheses, or we could divide by 6. I'm going to use my keen observation that the 24 on the other side of the equal sign can be divided by 6. So I'm going to save some time and I'll just divide by 6 right now. If you don't like that step, give me a moment and I'll show you what it looks like when you distribute it as well. So divide by 6, divide by 6. We got x plus 13 equals 4. Subtract 13. subtract 13, x equals negative 9. The bigger number when adding and subtracting always wins. So for example, the bigger number was 13. My final answer is also going to be negative because I had negative 13. If I had negative 4 plus 13, that would be a positive 9 because the 13 is a positive number in that instance. So here we have x equals negative 9. We will distribute the 6 now. We'll get 6x plus 13 times 6, that's 6 times 3, giving us 18. 6 times 10, 60. 60 plus 18, 78. And now we can subtract both sides by 78 and then divide both sides by 6. X equals negative 9. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Any questions, leave a comment down below. Thank you.